continuing with our new NCERT series, and we have started with polity. We are done with class 9th polity, and we have already started with class 10th polity. And now we are at chapter number 3. We are done with the first 2 chapters. Yes, good evening everyone. Good evening Aditya, Alicia, Vivek, Raj, Prabhanu. Yes, you are the regular student. Yes, good evening everyone. Can you just confirm once if I'm audible and visible to all of you? Am I audible and visible to all of you? Could you confirm? Yes. Okay, good evening. So we'll start with this chapter, and this chapter is about religion, gender, religion and caste. In yesterday's session, I told you a little bit about religion, right? We talked about India being a secular country and what does secularism mean. I also saw some of you answered in the comment section. I'm very happy about it. You wrote what exactly is principled distance. So I'm glad that you have answered that. And we will discuss all of these in today's session. We'll try to finish this chapter in today's session itself. If at all something is left, then we'll continue in the next session. Yes. All right. So let's get started with the session. The chapter says gender, religion and caste. Before I begin with the chapter, I'd like to ask you a question. What is gender? What is gender? And how is it different from sex? So there is a very basic debate in, especially if you are a sociology optional student, you will have this debate. So there's a very basic debate, and there's a difference between gender and sex. What is the difference? Yes. Beta, in the new book, some of the chapters are missing, yes, but they have been removed because the content of those chapters have been included in other chapters. So for example, you're saying diversity and democracy. We have already talked about democracy in detail, right? So don't worry, even if there are some chapters which are not there in new NCERTs, that is because the content of those chapters are already there. The content is already there in some other chapter. We have already covered it. Gender is a social construct. Why? How can you say gender is a social construct? And there are some new students here, so I'd like to make the announcement. We have our live session every day at 6 p.m. sharp from Monday to Friday. So don't forget to tune in 6 p.m. sharp. Gender is the social division found in society. Okay. Anything else? Okay. See, sex refers to the biological characteristics of a person, right? It has to do with biology. Sex refers to the biological characteristics of a person, such as what chromosomes do they have, right? What kind of hormones do they have, their reproductive organ or their physical features. That is all the matter in sex. And when we talk about gender, gender is about the social construct. Like most of you said that gender is social construct. Yes, gender is socially constructed, and it varies from society to society. It varies from different societies. It actually refers to the social roles, the roles that society gives you. It refers to the roles that society and your culture gives you, right? So it is different. Okay, yes. So for example, we say, oh, men don't cry. Why? Because we have attributed certain characteristics to men and to women. We have attributed certain work to men and to women. For example, women have been restricted to private sphere for a very long time, and in the sexual division of labor that we will study today, you will see that women were supposed to do the household chores and take care of the children, be nurturing, be calm, and men were accepted even if they are aggressive, right? Or they are supposed to be in the public sphere. They're supposed to do outside work. So who made these rules? Of course, society and culture made these rules. So gender comes from these rules. The social and cultural roles that is prescribed to a particular sex refers to or gives rise to the concept of gender. Yes, of course. See, this is what I was talking about. Most of the concepts that we are going to study, it is something that you already know. It's just that you need somebody who can organize these thoughts, and that's what we do in the classroom. So don't worry, even if there are some chapters which are not there in the new NCERT, the contents of those chapters have already been covered in some other chapters. Okay, so you don't have to worry about it. All right, so now let's get started. The first is, when we talk about gender, and this chapter specifically because we are talking about this in polity, so we have to see how it impacts politics, how gender has any influence in politics. So what is gender division? Gender division is when we divide society on the basis of gender, right? Gender division is hierarchical division, hierarchical social division found in almost every society, like we discussed. And it is often considered natural. We usually say that men are naturally like this or women are naturally like this. But most of the scholars have argued that there is no such thing as natural gender. We socialize them in such a way that they turn out to be like that. So if you say that women are naturally very calm, it's not like that. They are socialized in a way that they become calm, or they are not allowed to express anger. If you talk to women, you will realize that they get angry very often. So this is socialization, right? And it is because of social expectation. The society expects you to behave a certain way. That if you are a man, you cannot show that you are stressed or things like that. The basic stereotype. Of course, the society is changing now, but this construct of gender is because of socialization, which results due to social expectations, traditions, stereotype, and this is not a natural biological difference like we usually say. Ma'am, if polity is available in live online classes, why in geography? And beta, we will be doing geography as well. After we are done with polity, this is class 10th polity. We have 2 more chapters after this, I suppose. Yes. Then we will finish class 11th polity, and then we will move on to geography. And in geography, I'll be covering 6th to 12th NCERTs, because in geography, the actual prescribed book for UPSC is NCERTs. You just have to read them multiple times, understand the concepts given in them. Okay, next. So we know that because of this social expectations, what we have done is we have divided the sphere, that in private sphere, women are supposed to work, in public sphere, men are supposed to work, right? Society traditionally divides work between men and women. There is nothing new in this chapter. You already know everything. Then there are some work that women are supposed to do, for example, household chores or taking care of children or child care or nurturing, the role of nurturing, and men are supposed to do the outside work. But here is the point. The point is that we have divided the work. At least in the previous society, the work was clearly divided, but the value of the work was not equal, right? The value of men's work was given much more value than women's work. Although if you really look at it, both are spending equal time in working. In fact, women are spending much more time in taking care of everyone, but their work is not valued as much, and that creates division and that creates problems in society. That creates discrimination in society, right? Okay. So this creates sexual division of labor, right? This is called sexual division of labor. Division of labor means we have divided our work and it is based on the sex of the person. So it is called sexual division of labor. Okay. So it's the same thing. Women perform or organize or household work and men perform most income generating work outside home. This is called sexual division of labor, right? Okay, you can please hold on to your questions. I will answer them in some time. So now my question to you is, we understand sexual division of labor, right? What is the political consequence of it? This is the part that I was taking you at. What are the political consequences of this sexual division of labor? This is the part that you should be thinking about. Yes. See, now things are changing, society is changing, and I understand that society keeps changing, and we are not discussing that here. We are not discussing society, we are discussing the political implications of this. So because we divided this work for a very long time like this in private and public sphere, what were the political consequences of it? Do you see many women in politics? No, that is limited, right? Earlier they could not even vote, they could not contest elections. Even now, even though we had to provide reservation for women to bring them in politics, we still do not have enough representation. Why? Because they always stayed inside home. So what were the political consequences of this? That the role in politics remained very limited, because earlier they could not even vote, contest elections or participate in public affairs. So eventually what happened was they remained restricted to households. Now they are gradually demanding rights, voting rights, they're demanding equal political rights, they're demanding legal rights. And because of all this, this gives rise to feminist movement. Feminist movement. Feminist movement is usually done by feminists. And the ideology is feminism, the word which everybody is very scared of. And today we will try to decode this once and for all. So what do you think is feminism? Can somebody answer this? you are students, you are aspirants, you're preparing for UPSC, you should be able to think about these definitions in an educated manner. You should not make views based on what is popular in society. So what do you think is feminism? What do you think is feminism? We understand why was there a need for feminist movement? Because women were restricted to household for a very long time, and because of that, now they do not have equal representation in public sphere, and their household work is not even recognized. So they were discriminated for a very long time. Now they're asking for rights. So this gave rise to feminist movement. But what exactly is feminism? See, this is what I was talking about. The moment you hear the word feminism, you keep saying that today feminist movement is turning into toxicity. When a particular section of society has been discriminated against for a very long time, for one moment, just forget about whether you're a man or a woman, right? Just think about it. If a section of society has been discriminated so much that they did not have equal rights, they were not even considered as human beings, and before you argue that women in our family are respected and all that, you should really talk to them, sit with them and ask them, are you really happy with this setting? Did you never want to do anything else? Did you ever feel like that you were very restricted? If you talk to your mothers, truly talk to your mothers, you realize that there were so many aspirations that they had and they wanted to do different things. And now all their life is around you. That's it. They do not have a social life, a very good social life. They do not have a life where they can earn, and somebody in their life must have shown them their place, right? So let's get back to the point. See, now we can argue that yes, feminism has created some extreme forms, but that's not what we are talking about. I'm asking you, what is feminism? What is the definition of feminism? How would you describe feminism? Feminism means gender equality, not women being superior to men, but equal to them. Okay, but then there will be another question. If you talk about equality, then why do you need reservation? See, you have to think about these things, right? We say, as a woman, I would say, yes, feminism is required because we want equality. But then somebody will argue, if you want equality, then why do you need reservation? Equality does not mean reservation, isn't it? Answer that as well, and I'll explain it to you, don't worry. It is socio-political movement which aims to remove gender inequalities, okay? But what about the second question that I asked you? See, first, let's understand the concept of equality. Equality does not mean identical treatment, and this is something we study in Article 14 as well. That equality, when we talk about equality, equality does not mean identical treatment. That if somebody is treated like this, the other person has to be treated like that. No. Our constitution allows for reasonable classification. What does that mean? If there are two different groups and you have a reason for differentiating them, then you can bring about affirmative actions to bring the other group forward as well. There are some tests for it, and of course we are not discussing Article 14 in this class, so I'm not going to go in detail there. But equality does not mean identical treatment. That's point number one. Second point, when here equality is talked about, it is about equality of opportunity and outcome. What you're thinking is equality at the first level. But because a particular section has been left behind for such a long time, it's not a level playing field. See, you want to have a race with somebody, right? In the race, you always see that the starting point of everybody is equal. But if you have left a group behind for a very long time, then this is not a level playing field. So first you have to create a level playing field, then you can start the race. So for now, this equality means that you want to create a level playing field for everyone, then maybe you can talk about merit. So equality is equality of opportunity, that they get equal opportunity, and outcome, that ultimately everybody is almost at the same level, right? That's point number two. Point number three, yes, point number three is, when we talk about feminism, feminism is not just about women. Feminism is about every gender. Listen to it very, very carefully. Feminism is an ideology or social movement that seeks to create a level playing field. Whichever gender is left behind will have to be brought forward first, right? So it aims at creating a level playing field for all the genders, not just women, all the genders, by challenging whatever is the system. So which system we have? We have patriarchy. Because of patriarchy, we have stereotypes like men have to take the burden all the time. They have to take responsibility. They cannot behave a certain way. Or women have to stay in home and they cannot behave a certain way. So patriarchy is not just the fact that it has not just oppressed women, it has also oppressed men. And this is something we all need to understand, right? Maybe oppression was much more in case of women, but it has also oppressed men. So it is about level playing field for all genders by challenging the system. Which system right now? Which system is oppressing everyone? Patriarchy. So feminism is a fight against patriarchy, the system itself. It's not a fight against any particular gender. Is it clear to everyone? See, now you're saying, ma'am, men don't get equal opportunities because of reservation. So what you're doing, you're not thinking like a student. You're thinking like an individual. If you look at society at large, I'm not saying because of reservation, people are not taking advantage of it. People are taking advantage of reservation. There are loopholes. And it's not just about a gender. Everybody is taking advantage of the loophole. But if you look at society in general, at large, you will still see there's a larger section of women that are still being discriminated against. They're still left behind. There are still cases of, for example, there are dowry deaths. There are domestic violence cases. So there are so many cases still like that, right? And just because we have 5% cases which are opposite to it, we cannot say we don't need feminism right now. We need feminism so that the society can be livable for both men and women. Is it clear? So yes, when we talk about feminism, feminism is an ideology or a social movement that seeks to create a level playing field for all the genders. When you write in the examination, you'll write all genders. It's not just about women. For all genders, by challenging patriarchy so that equality of opportunity and outcome can be attained. Is it clear to everyone? Now you're my students, you will not understand the nuances, and then you should form opinions, and anytime you get proof of something opposite to what opinion you have made, you should be able to change that also. We are not rigid, we are still learning. Great. Ma'am, that is for everyone, that is not gender specific. That is for everyone. Everybody takes advantage of the loopholes. Should it be done? No. Am I supporting it? Oh, of course not. But that's how society is going on. But because 5% people are taking advantage, we cannot ignore the rest of the population, which is a larger chunk of the population, right? When we talk about society, we have to talk about everyone in general. Okay, moving on. So I hope this concept is clear to all of you. Who is a feminist? We understood what is feminism. So who is a feminist? A feminist is a person. It can be a man or a woman. Like I told you, it is for every gender, equality of every gender. So anybody can be a feminist, right? It can be a man or a woman who believes in equal rights and equal opportunities for both men and women. And of course, we will include a third gender also here. For all the genders, when we write the definition, we'll write for all the genders, right? This was given in NCERT, so I picked it up like this. So feminist movements demanded political equality, legal equality, educational equality, employment opportunities, equality within family. So basically equal rights, equality of opportunity, equality of status, which was not given to one particular gender for a very long time, right? Okay, next is patriarchy. Now what is patriarchy? As I told you, feminism is an ideology that fights against the system. Not against men or women, it fights against the system that caused oppression in both men and women. So that system is patriarchy. What is patriarchy? Patriarchy is a social system that values men more than women right now, right? And gives men greater power within the family and society. So patriarchy is the system that values one gender more than the other gender, and here it is especially about men. Okay, the voice is not coming. Can somebody confirm? Am I audible? Am I audible? Can somebody confirm? All right. Both are clear. All right, great. Next. See, you're saying such definitions are not given in NCERT. That is because they're trying to make you understand at a very basic level, right? Think about it. This is for a class 10 student. We're not class 10 people. We're not class 10 students anymore, right? We are grown up. And because my specialization is sociology, so I've studied all these concepts in depth. So because we have to understand everything, and because you also have Indian society and social issues in a mains paper, so you should be able to understand the nuances as well, right? Great. Next is, if we talk about gender inequalities, there's some data given in NCERT that we will pick up. So female literacy 54%, male literacy 76%, First of all, literacy also does not mean that they are educated, right? Because we have such an education system here in India. And it could be in any country. Just because somebody is literate does not mean they are really educated. In that case also, female literacy is so low as compared to male literacy. There has to be some reason for it, right? And what is the reason? Usually, if you even now, if you look at well-to-do families also, they give preference to son. They give preference to the education of son, especially in middle class family, because the same mindset is still there that the girl is going to get married. So anyway, she's not going to earn for us. And in her marriage, there will be, we will have to spend money. So we have to spend money anyway. So why spend in education? And that's the mindset I have seen a lot of people, right? So because of that, the dropout rates are very high when it comes to female education. So female literacy is 54%, male literacy is 76%. Then when we talk about work, women work on an average more than 7.5 hours daily. So if we really talk about the household chores or household work or taking care of everyone, you could see in your homes also, our moms never rest. Our mothers, they never rest. So on an average, they work over 7.5 hours, even in public sphere I'm talking about. So outside, even if they work 1 hour extra on an average, they are not paid equally. So there's still wage gap. A lot of wage gap is still there. And there can be a lot of reasons for it, but it still exists. Next, wage discrimination, as I told you. So Equal Remuneration Act 1976 has mandated that there should be equal pay for equal work. If two people are doing equal work, then they should be paid equally. It doesn't matter which gender they belong to. But women generally receive lower wages as compared to men, especially in sectors like agriculture, factories, sports, cinema. And one of the reasons could be, see, there are a lot of families are not very comfortable with women working outside. And there are many reasons for it. There is security purposes, right? Then again, the same thing that if she works quite a lot, then she may not be able to put so much effort in their household. So there are a lot of stereotypes that go on. Then women, because they have been socialized to be docile and calm and submissive, they don't even negotiate that much. So there are a lot of reasons for it, but it still exists. For same work, women are paid lower in general. No. See, that's what I said. What did I say? In feminism, we talk about all the genders. This is a definition that's given in NCERT. But when you talk about feminism, it is about all genders. I think that was the first line that I told you. You're not listening carefully. Okay, next is sex selective abortions are still a norm. See, normally if you read science, you will realize that the female fetus, the girl child in the womb, she has more chances to survive as compared to the male child. And yet, you will see the skewed sex ratio. There are 919 girls per 1,000 boys according to 2011 census. And in some states, it is much lower, and you know that. Right? Why is that so? If female fetus can survive better as compared to male fetus, then why is such a skewed sex ratio? Why is there such a skewed sex ratio? That is because there is still son preference. We want a son. Why? The same reason that the son is going to be here. He'll bring a daughter-in-law, and both of them will take care of us. So, and in daughter, we'll have to spend a lot. So all those stereotypical thoughts still. Because of that, many families prefer son, and there are many sex-selective abortions, even though now it is not done. At least MTPs are not that easy to be done, but yet, and this is not something you should be writing, but you'll still see people are finding loopholes here as well. This is why we still have a skewed sex ratio, right? Next is violence against women. As I told you, there are so many cases, even in urban areas. This patriarchy is there. In urban areas are also, especially they are unsafe. So the safety issues are still there, violence issues are still there. In urban areas, in fact, you will study in urbanization where maybe a nuclear family, a family moves to urban areas. Now parents are not around. So in that case, sometimes the cases of domestic violence increases because there is no one elder in the house to stop it, right? So in urban areas, particularly, they are unsafe, not just inside family, outside family also. So violence against women is still there. And if we talk about political representation, as I told you, political representation is still very less. The representation in legislation, India has low representation for women. For example, in Lok Sabha, it constitutes 14% only, 14.36% out of the total. Then in state assemblies, it is less than 5%. So it is such low representation. If you are saying that everybody is at equal status right now, then why come there are so many discrepancies in data? Why come there is so much skewness in data? Why is women not being represented enough? Women are not there in public spaces enough. And you cannot say, oh, maybe it is because of merit. When something happens for a very long time, it takes time for society to change. And that requires a lot of efforts also. Lack of, yeah, again, think about it. Why is there a lack of education? Because we just discussed that usually families think that the girl child is anyway going to get married and we have to spend a lot of money in getting her married. Then why teach her? Or even if there are two kids in the family, and I'm talking about middle class, lower middle class families especially, if there are two kids in the family, or poor families, if there are two kids in the family, there's a boy and a girl, then if they have money to teach only one of them, they will prefer son, right? Because he will be earning and he'll be taking care of the family. If they have money but not enough, then they will teach the boy in private school where the education will be good, and the girl will be enrolled in a government school or a public school, and maybe after some time she also drops out because she has to take care of the house also, right? So yes, this is, you're right, there is a lack of education, but why is that? We have to understand that level. No, it's not. See, like I told you, feminism is not for making females equal in getting opportunity. It is for every gender. Whichever gender is left behind will be helped to get equal opportunities. It's not just for women. This is the definitional problem that we all have. We don't understand the definition itself. Okay, so now you're saying that you're saying female sex ratio has increased drastically. All right. Is it still equal? That's my question. Just because it has improved from earlier level was horrible. Now maybe it has improved a little bit, and that is not also in all the states. Is it enough? That's the question. Okay. Why, Alicia, we have just discussed why women's reservation is important. And I think you missed that part. And I told you earlier as well, please do not miss the class timing. It is very essential. We just realized that equality does not mean identical treatment. Equality means that whichever section of society requires special privileges to create a level playing field, we will provide them that. Equality means substantive equality, and because a certain section of society has been left behind for a very long time, we have to create reservations so that equal level playing field can be created. Because even now you cannot change thinking, right? It takes time to bring changes in the culture. And because you cannot change the thinking, you have to take some measures to help them. And that is also there in Article 14. Okay, let's move on. Next is India remains below world average. Now it's no surprise that India is going to remain below world average when it comes to political representation. Next topic is religion, communalism and politics. Now yesterday we talked about secular, and I told you that India is a secular country. Now of course this is not the topic of conversation in this chapter. This chapter talks about how this manifests in political spheres. But in any case, we are going to discuss a little bit about secular and secularism also. Now, India is a secular country. What does that mean? That means that there is no official state religion. Let's discuss that first. Okay. That means that there is no official state religion. India does not have an official state religion. And the fact that India maintains principled distance. This is something we discussed yesterday. India maintains principled distance. So secularism can be of two types, positive and negative secularism. In the West, there is negative secularism because there is strict separation between state and religion. And state is not going to interfere in religion. So they are keeping everybody at bay, at distance. But in case of India, in India, state gives equal respect to all the religions, right? And it maintains principled distance. That means religion can interfere if there is a requirement, to ensure equality, justice or social reform. So largely it will stay away from religion, but it can interfere to ensure justice, to ensure equality and social reform. That is the concept of principled distance, and this is called positive secularism. So in India, we have positive secularism. Now the question arises, how does it impact politics? Do you think religion has any positive impacts on politics? Okay. Do you think religion has any positive impact on politics? First, tell me the negative impacts of religion on politics. Then we will talk about its positive impacts. Okay, I'm looking at your comments as well. If I find a question, I will answer. Government should maintain distance to all religion. Yeah, that means it stays neutral, but principled distance means it will largely maintain distance, but it can interfere. It is not strict separation. It can interfere to ensure social reform, equality, and justice, because that is our first criteria. Polarization, vote bank, right? Very good. Yes. What are the negative consequences of religion in politics? It can lead to polarization. It can lead to vote bank, and what else? Right. So we know that we have different religions in our country, and because any part of society eventually percolates in politics, it is going to show effect in politics as well. So we all know the negative consequences of religion in politics. What are the positive consequences then? Are there any positivity? Is there any positivity of religion in politics? Okay, everybody has said the same thing. Increased polarization, conflict, polarization of votes, vote bank, discrimination of religion. That is not something you're going to write in examination. Religion is not discriminated against. Yes, very good, Paru. You're right. It can lead to development. How? Erosion of secularism and minority rights. Okay. How? You also have to give examples or something to substantiate your answer. You can't simply say anything. See, if you simply say a statement, it is an abstract idea. In fact, in answer writing also, when you write an idea, you're answering something, you write an idea, especially in ethics, you'll have to give an example, give a data, something to substantiate what you have said. So if you're saying that it is leading to erosion of secularism and minority rights, you have to tell me how. Leads to dictatorship. Okay, how? What is dictatorship? And we live in a democracy. I'm talking about India. There is no positivity. Okay. See. All right. Now see, when we talk about religion in politics, don't different religious groups get their representation in politics? Do you believe that? Different religious groups also get representation in politics, and if a group is represented, then their problems will be sorted, because of course if you're trying to solve a problem of a particular section, that section has to say something, right? That section has to present their views, their problems, and that happens when they have a representation. So when we bring religion in politics, in the sense that when religious groups are a part of politics also, they represent their particular religion, they represent the problems they face, and they can find a solution. Yes, it also, very good, Labasna dream, all right, very good. It shows diversity, right? When everybody is representing themselves, it shows diversity of the country. Great. Okay, so if you're saying it has positive as well and negative as well, then what is communalism? Now, my next question to you is, what is communalism? I'm asking you questions right now, then I'll sum up everything. What is communalism? These are the topics that you should be knowing. Diversity is important for a dynamic developing society. Yes, diversity is important because it brings about different religion, different caste, different practices, and that all of them can be, the amalgamation of all of them brings new changes in society. So yes, that is important. What is communalism? That is the question. Communalism is, this is what happens, the negative concept, the negative consequences that I was talking about. You talked about vote bank, the politics, etc. Yes, that is true. But when religion enters the sphere of politics, that can lead to communalism. How? Because in communalism, it is a belief that the ideas and values and opinions and the interests of one particular community of one particular group are superior to others, that gives rise to communalism. So for example, somebody starts saying, oh, Hindus are better, or somebody starts saying the ideas in Quran are better, so Muslims are better, or somebody starts saying Sikhs are better. So you see, when religion enters politics in a worse form, that can give rise to communalism. Communalism is the idea or ideology which makes people believe that followers of one religion, they are more important, they are superior to other religious beliefs. Yes, the fact that one religious community is more important, this will create conflicts in society, conflict of interest, this will create chaos in society. So here religion is the basis for political identity, social identity and political identity, that is communalism. Okay, in extreme form, what will happen? Often blind loyalty to one's religious and ethnic community over the rest of society. Yes, very good. Places interest of their own religious community above the interest of others. Belief, superiority complex. See, all of you already know these things. So it's not that difficult, right? And this is what you will study in your advanced books also. So I don't know why most of the students are usually scared of the syllabus. This is what syllabus is all about. There's nothing you don't know. Okay, great. One second. All right, so now next question is, what happens in extreme form? Now you understand what is communalism, right? So what happens when it takes extreme form? Deterioration of cultural harmony, assimilation. Yes, you have already answered, Ankur, very good. Hence, government should maintain principal distance to avoid chaos of religion in politics. Yes. In extreme, it will lead to harmful impact on other religions. Very good. Yes. In extreme form, what will happen if one community thinks they are better or superior than every other religious community, then they cannot live peacefully. And India is known for unity in diversity. So this diversity will be threatened, right? Even in our preamble, you'll find one of the objectives or goals is fraternity, which ensures both dignity of individual and unity and integrity of the nation. So if one community starts believing that they are better or superior to others, then all of us cannot live together peacefully. One community will dominate because they think they are superior, or they will start believing that they should live separately, right? Because we are superior, we cannot live with the rest of the population, so we live separately. That's what they will believe. So this in extreme form can create chaos and conflict in society. This can lead to secession, that a particular community would want to go away from India. It will lead to widespread violence and loss of life. Yes, it will threaten unity and diversity. See, all of you are answering absolutely right. Okay, and this is why communalism is wrong. Why? Because we have different identities in India. We have different class, we have different gender, different occupation, region, language. So we have different identities in India, and all of us live together. If one particular community starts believing that they are superior, that will threaten every other community. That will threaten the country itself. The feeling of nationalism, brotherhood, fraternity, it will threaten those, because there will be a lot of internal differences which will lead to conflict and chaos and violence. Is it clear to everyone? Okay, can you give me example of some everyday communalism? Now this is something you would not have thought about. When we think of communalism, we think, oh, once one community is thinking they are better, and it leads to chaos or it leads to conflict. But can you give me some examples of everyday communalism? Is there such thing as everyday communalism? Everyday communalism. Can you give me some examples? Yes. Everyday example is the religious stereotypes, right? Or there are prejudices. Oh, that particular community does this only, or that particular community does this and that is why they're not good. Specific stereotypes, specific prejudices, they always result from communalism in everyday life. Yes. Then, if a particular community feels they are better, wouldn't they try to dominate others? Yes, they will try to dominate. And if they are in majority number, let's say, then that will create political dominance. The majority community will start trying to dominate the society itself, and that will again threaten the diversity. It can also lead to communal violence, as we have already discussed. So let's see what is written here first now. You have already answered a lot of questions. Spreading rumors, misinformation about a group. Yes, these are the acts of communalism, right? Okay, so let's see what is written here. Now we saw that religion and politics can have positive relationships, right? They're not always incompatible. Like we take care of every group that is there in our society and they are represented, so their problems are solved. Communalism, what is communalism? It is a religion. It is the belief that religion is the principal basis of social political identity, meaning that we are a part of community not because we are a part of India. We are a part of community because we belong to a particular religion. That is communalism. That gives rise to communalism. And followers of one religion have identical interests. So because we belong to this particular religion, we all have same interests. So there should be unity among us, not as citizen of India, but as a part of this particular religion. That gives rise to communalism. And different religious communities have conflicting interests. This is another belief that, okay, we belong to a specific religion and the people of our religion have same interest, but people of other religion, whatever their interests are, they are opposite to us. It's not that they have different interests. It is that they are opposite to our interests. That is why we cannot live peacefully. So this is the basic behind communalism. In extreme form, people cannot live together. Different religions cannot live together equally. One community will dominate, start dominating, and it will separate nations. It will create a feeling that separate nations should exist because we cannot live together. Okay. Next is, what are the forms of communalism? Everyday communalism we have already discussed. Then there is quest for political dominance. So when, let's say, a majority community starts to think like it should be their dominance, that is also a form of communalism, right? So that could create majoritarianism. Then political mobilization. What is political mobilization? Political mobilization means political parties use religion to win votes, right? They maybe use religious leaders, that we are using this particular leader because this leader represents a particular religion. So they start using religious leaders or religious symbols, they start using colors, emotional appeals. So whatever is related to religion, they will start using that in as a political party or the face of political party to maintain political dominance. This is called political mobilization, right? Next is communal violence. We have already discussed this can lead to communal violence. Is it clear to everyone? Is there anything that you did not understand? Okay, let me look at some of your questions also, if there are any. Political debates in TV. Okay. Beta, in Hindi, I would love to explain, but this channel is English. So if you read the name of the channel, it says Drishti IAS English. So all the classes here on this channel are in English. If you want the classes in Hindi, there is a channel Drishti IAS that is in Hindi. You will find all the lectures in Hindi there. Yes. I started from class 9th. Yes, I started teaching polity of class 9th first. Great. It is clear to all of you? Very well. If you have any questions, you can always write them down in the comment section below. After the class is over, not in the live chat because they disappear, but after the class is over, you can write your comments in the comment section below. And if you wish to have PDFs, then you will find in the description box just below this video, you'll find a Telegram channel. And don't worry, if there are any PDFs missing, you can just let me know in the comment section, and by Monday, I will get you those videos, those PDFs as well. So if you want to get PDFs, you can join the Telegram channel. All right, everybody has answered the questions that I've asked, and you've already asked your questions also. All right, so that's it for today's session, and we will continue this chapter on Monday because I think it's Friday already. One second. Yes, it is Friday already, so we'll have our next session at 6 p.m. on Monday. So until then, take care.